You have to learn to love yourself again and find this new person and get to know this new person.
These women taking that brave step and feeling empowered, this is me.
You don't have to hide it, just embrace it more than anything.
And she did it in front of the camera. She said, I want to break the stigma. I had butterflies because you just couldn't believe that you were witnessing someone making themselves so vulnerable, but at the same time being so powerful. I'll be totally honest, I was scrolling through social media, as we're all guilty of doing, one night after work, and up popped this incredible transformation makeup video. And my reaction was, wow, that's amazing. Didn't think much more of it, but was so intrigued, I went onto her profile on Instagram and could see there was lots of these amazing transformation videos with, going from absolutely no hair, no makeup to full hair and makeup and looking absolutely stunning. And when I unmuted it, because I think it was quite late at night, so I didn't have the sound on, the fear of waking the household. And I unmuted it and I heard that she had a Northeast accent. And because I work in the Northeast of England, I thought, yes, I have to talk to this lady. And we did. We tracked her down and said, would you like to do something with us about what you do to empower other women living with hair loss? And she said yes.
Just explain to me and to everyone who's listening how Dani's journey began with alopecia. Because to be perfectly honest, I didn't know before watching your piece the different types of alopecia.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be born with it.
Yeah.
So just explain what Dani's story.
Yeah, there are lots of different types of alopecia. And I guess if you've not had personal experience of it, you may not be aware of it. And I think that's true of a lot of people. So Dani was born fit and healthy. She is fit and healthy. But when she was about 18 months old, her mum noticed a little patch about the size of a 50p piece of hair loss. And she was so young, our mum just thought maybe it's like the little ponytail or baby hair. Went to the doctors. Doctor said it was baby alopecia. It's something you'll probably grow out of and will be fine. She didn't grow out of it. The hair loss became more profound. So she lost all the hair on her head. And as she got into her teenage years, sort of heading into high school and college, she developed a type of alopecia called alopecia universalis, which is total hair loss. So she has no body hair, no facial hair, no hair on her head. And that had developed from being this tiny patch, about a 50p piece. So there are different types of alopecia. Dani has the one that affects her entire body, so she has no body hair at all. As you can imagine, growing up as a teenager, that was
So
really
hard.
really tough. She always felt completely different. She tried to disguise and get through high school and things with wigs. And then she started to experiment with makeup, and she started a little YouTube video just as a bit of fun. And it absolutely exploded into the videos, the types of videos that we've seen, that I saw on Instagram.
Amy, I think I'm right in thinking that Dani has her own line, she has her own business in dealing with wigs and eyebrow transfers and things like that. Let's have a listen to her explaining the impact that these kind of things have had on her life.
Having the makeup and the wig side of things now is definitely more expressing myself and the creative side of myself coming out, and it also helps with the alopecia and makes myself feel confident to be able to go and face the day. And that's the simple fact for a lot of people who deal with alopecia day to day, is they need something to give them that confidence boost, whether that be makeup or a wig. The reality for some people is that is what they rely on. That's their safety blanket to just even leave the house. And it's not to say that they're disguising or hiding that they have alopecia. For some people that is the case, but I'm hoping with sort of the work that I do as well, it's to show people that you don't have to hide it, just embrace it more than anything.
Now, Amy, you talked about Dani having hair loss pretty much since she was an infant, since she was a child. But you also spoke to another lady called Gaelen, and how it happened to her was different, wasn't it?
Completely different. And this can be the case with alopecia. So I would say meeting Gaelen, she's at a different point in her alopecia journey. They are both incredibly strong women. Gaelen is, I would say, relatively new into her alopecia diagnosis. It was October 2024, so it's less than a year, really.
Recent, yeah.
And her hair loss was triggered by a bereavement, by some mental health issues that she had, which she's been very open about.
So this was the result of trauma?
Yes. And she, similar to Dani in a way, she began to notice the small patches of hair loss. And she said to me that she knew where it was going to end up. She knew that she would lose all her hair on her head. So she could see it happening, but there was nothing she could do about it. So she really struggled with that, as you can imagine. I think our hair and how we look, it's also wrapped up in our image, and it was really difficult for Gaelen in particular, because she said she loved going to have her hair done. She always felt she was well groomed. She'd spend 2 or 3 hours getting ready before she headed out, and suddenly that's gone at a time when she was also dealing with trauma as well. And what she really felt was that there wasn't much support. So she actually started her own support group in Sunderland. So she's based in the northeast of England as well. And she found these other incredible women who were also just looking for a safe space to chat through their insecurities, have a giggle, get together, have a cup of tea, have a biscuit, and just be with other people experiencing the same thing. And some of those people are parents of young children, like Dani was when she was young and first got a diagnosis. So there's parents at Gaeleen's support group as well. And some women who are, been living with alopecia for many years, but maybe just have never even had the confidence to leave
reach
the
out
house.
and find someone
else. It's just been such a stigma and a taboo. So Gaelen has really helped herself by being so generous and strong with her time in helping other women with hair loss as well.
Let's have a listen to Gaelen too.
It makes me emotional, to be honest. I get so excited when I'm going to the monthly meeting, because I know that I'm going to see them all. And when they walk through the door, I literally get butterflies, because I know that this not only supports them, but it makes me get through the month, because this is tough. It's, when you've transitioned from a person that's always been really well groomed, always had regular visits to the salon, kind of, you look in the mirror and think, you don't recognise who you are. You have to learn to love yourself again and find this new person and get to know this new person.
When she described it as having butterflies and feeling excited that she was going to meet the other women every month who had similar experience and they could share ultimately. It's such an emotive moment in your film that when she talks about, and this is a support group she set up to help others, but actually
she gets a lot back.
She gets a lot
Absolutely.
back from it.
I really got that from Gaelen, that it was a big important part of her support group as well, her support circle.
When you were chatting to her, did she kind of told you something that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, so obviously when we go to film with someone, you want them to feel as confident and as comfortable as possible to share their stories with us. You're in a privileged position of trust, going into someone's house, chatting to them about something that they feel very vulnerable about, that's very personal to them. And Gaelen was incredibly warm and opening. She had us into a house and we explained that we would talk to her about her experience with alopecia, the support group. And then she said something which I was completely flummoxed by. I was not expecting this, because Gaelen had asked me, how would you like me to look for the filming? And I said, however you feel comfortable. We'll put no stipulations on that. And she said, I'll choose a headscarf. I might put a wig on. I think I'll put a headscarf on. I said, that sounds amazing. And she said, before we started the filming, can I take my headscarf off? And I said, yeah, of course you can, if you feel you're okay to do that. She said, nobody, apart from my husband and very, very close friends and family, have ever seen me without it on since it started.
And she did that in front of
And she did it in front of the camera. She said, I want to break the stigma. I want this to be something that it's okay to be you. And she did it. And there was me and my camera operator for the day, the incredibly talented Paul Kingston, who works in our newsroom. And there was just the three of us, and it was just, you could have heard a pin drop. I had butterflies, because you just couldn't believe that you were witnessing someone making themselves so vulnerable, but at the same time being so powerful. I'll remember that for a very long time. It was a very powerful moment.
And that's what I suppose your piece is all about, really, is about these women taking that brave step and feeling empowered to just say, this is me now. And one of the most incredible moments in the film that I got tears in my eyes, is that when Dani talks about, she got married recently.
Yeah, she got married abroad. I ended up following the story on Instagram as well, kind of looking back on her wedding, and it looked absolutely stunning. But she'd said from the start, she was very open with her followers on social media that, I don't know if I can be a bald bride. I don't know if I'll feel confident and comfortable to do that. And this was like an ongoing process. And you're right, it was her husband who said, But when I first met you, you were bald. You had no hair because they met in the gym. So she had no makeup on. She didn't have her lashes, her brows done. She didn't have any of her wigs on. So that was how they first met and fell in love. And he's always remembered that, obviously, and didn't want to see her in the wig on the wedding day, but felt that that's the Dani I fell in love with. And yeah, she got herself to a position where she felt that she could be a bald bride and walked down the aisle and said she felt absolutely beautiful. She said it's one of the best decisions she made. Again, so special. And interestingly, Gaeleen's support group actually also watched Dani's wedding on social media, and they
all know each other now.
They do now, yeah. So they Gaeleen's support group were aware of Dani's social media profile and the things that she's done online with the makeup transformations and the wedding. So they'd all watched it at the support group, as in, look, here's someone with alopecia looking absolutely incredible, you know, having a normal life.
She really does.
Oh, she's absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning. When I went to film with her, she was, let alone on a wedding day. And she says, you know, here's someone who is living a normal, full, happy life and living with alopecia. But they hadn't ever met Dani. So when we did the filming, we got them to do a video call with each other just to say hi. They both knew we were filming with each other. So they had a quick conversation over FaceTime and said hello to each other. And they have arranged for Dani to go to Gaeleen's support group at Christmas to join their Christmas party, swap makeup tips, and just show that it is possible to be happy and be yourself living with hair loss. And I think that's a powerful message as well.
What surprised you most in your chats with both of them?
I think there's a couple of things, to be honest, Lucy. The first one was how you take your hair for granted, which sounds silly. When you cut your hair, change your hair, you have a bad hair day, how self-conscious you can feel. And I suppose I'd never really stopped to appreciate how it would feel as a woman to go through hair loss like that. So I suppose that hit me sort of introspectively, but also just how confident and comfortable you can be with the new you, as Gaelen is discovering, as Dani has discovered. You know, she made a virtue of the fact that she'd often, I'll just put my tracksuit on because I need to go to the post office. I've got no hair, no eyelashes, no eyebrows on, and it's almost like there's two versions of me, but I'm totally okay with that. And I think that there's a message in there for all of us that it's okay to be you, just as you are. And I think we can all probably learn something from that.
I mean, I hope you grasp from our chat how enthusiastic, how wonderful I thought the film was.
Thank you.
Has been the reaction, the response, not just from me, like from like the broader society, broader audience to the film?
I think people have been really moved by it, and people were happy to see it. People who experience hair loss or who live with someone living with hair loss, that, oh wow, there's someone like me being featured, you know, on the news, on a podcast, on ITVX. And I know that Dani in particular has posted on Instagram how much love that she's received from people that have seen the piece, how she's had so many people asking her about, you know, her makeup, her wigs, but also crucially, and this for me is one of the proudest things about this piece that I've found, is that she's been able to offer links to help and support and people to talk to, in the way that Gaelen is offering the support through her group, that through this piece, people have found Dani, found Gaelen, and in doing so have found somewhere that they can go for help and support. And I think that's a really rewarding aspect of this. So it's had a good response, and I hope it will continue to do so as well.
And everything feels better if you're struggling with something, if you can then share with someone.
You just don't want to be alone, do you?
Yeah,
you want to see someone like you, that they're doing okay, and there's somewhere I can go to for help. And I think this piece has helped in part, hopefully, to move that along a little bit. So yeah.
Well, thank you to you for coming in and for doing this piece, and of course to Gaelen and to Dani.
Absolutely.
Two remarkable women. And you can watch Amy's full film, I strongly recommend you do, on YouTube. We will put a link in the podcast show notes for you. Until your next quick briefing though, thank you very much for joining us.